Thanks for joining India Today's continuing non-stop coverage of Russia and Ukraine at war. War has been declared. The situation has spiraled dramatically in the last few hours. India Today on top of the story, the only channel from India reporting from eastern Ukraine where the attacks are being concentrated at this point of time. Thanks for joining me. I'm Shiv Arur. These are the top developments on this rapidly developing story. Reported from various different parts of Ukraine. At least 7 different cities, seven different sites of Ukraine are reporting explosions right now. Both countries flex their muscle and make claims and counterclaims at each other. Russia claims that it has neutralized Ukraine's air defense forces. Ukraine claims it has shot down 7 Russian aircraft and helicopters. Ukraine hits out at Russian President Putin, calls it a war of hubris and a war of aggression. Russian President Putin says Russia will defend itself at all costs. Biden condemns the war that's been declared by Russia, says that if Russia doesn't immediately de-escalate, it will have to face historic consequences. Putin says the same thing to the rest of the world. Huge impact of conflict breaking out on the rest of the world. Sensex impacted stock exchanges across the world. Crude oil prices, everything affected all across the globe. Maria Pysarenko is live with me from Kiev. Let's go straight to her. Put her on the screen. Let's go straight to Maria to get the very latest from the ground in Kiev. Maria, what's the situation in the city right now? We've seen dramatic images being coming in for the last few hours. Where are you right now? What's happening?
I'm sorry, do you hear me? Because some things with the phone connection. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Yes? Say me if you do. Hey, hello, studio. Can you hear me?
Maria, we can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead if you can hear me.
Okay,
we can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry, because it shows I'm in the city center still. It's Krishchatyk Street. The traffic is getting rarer and more rare because cars are like fleeing the city, and there are pictures of lines of cars going out of Kiev. So the lines are already forming. So what about the work of shops and other infrastructure in Kiev? This is the biggest shopping center in the central Kiev, and now it's closed. A lot of cafes, a lot of shops are all closed. They do not work because of the situation. Though, as we know, the Verkhovna Rada at its extraordinary meeting declared the martial law now in Ukraine. And in Kiev, it's in the streets, there are a lot of cars. You see a lot of people trying to flee the country, and still in Krishchatyk Street there is a place where the volunteer fighters are being gathered to go to the front. They are still here. They collect the information of people who want to join their unit, and then they go to Donbass. About the information we are receiving from our official governmental bodies, right now there is a briefing happening in the office of president, where they are talking about what Ukraine is planning to do. President Mr. Zelensky announced that Ukraine is in full defense mode and ordered to shoot to kill. So Ukrainian army can shoot to kill, but several days ago it was not the case, because we announced that we do not, Ukraine does not do what Russia does, so there is no need to attack. We do not attack, we defend our country. And now there is a presidential order, as a chief commander, Vladimir Zelensky ordered to shoot to kill. And the latest news about the casualties of what have been going on for several hours in Kiev, so already 5 hours. The invasion is happening for 5 hours from 5 o'clock in the morning. We have seen the reports and that right now the battle is going in Khersonska Oblast. So it's Kherson, it's the southern part of Ukraine, southern Oblast. And right now there is a battle, and I right now see on my screen the reports from there that there is a battle near Kopany and Ivanovo. These are two small towns in Khersonska Oblast. And there Russia uses artillery, and Russian army attacks actually Ukrainian army with artillery. And the reports from the border guard also says that Russia this way conducts the invasion. First go artillery, and then go the other types of military. So again, about the casualties, the Defense Ministry reported that there were 6 deaths after the shelling in Odessa, and also one person who is also a casualty who died in, I guess, it's Khersonska Oblast. So that's the latest updates. So
Maria, we've just got the latest pictures in. I'm sure you're also able to see them perhaps. I just want to remind our viewers of the latest top 5 developments coming in from there. There's a huge traffic jam. Huge traffic jam in Kiev, where Maria is reporting from. Take a look at the pictures on your screen in just a moment from now. Massive traffic jam as people are trying to leave Kiev at this point. These are images of the missile. Let's put it on the images of that big traffic jam from Kiev. There it is. There's that picture of that big traffic jam. A lot of panic has set in, Maria, as people are trying to leave Kiev, and there's a huge traffic snarl in the capital city of Ukraine. Ukraine has also limited cash withdrawals to 10,000 hryvnia per day. That's the currency there. More sanctions against Russia by the European panel are being reported at this time. Russia claims that it has targeted Ukrainian military infrastructure and its air bases. India Today is reporting from Kiev, Kharkiv and Mariupol at this point of time. The only Indian channel reporting from the site of the attacks at this point of time. Maria, massive traffic jam in Kiev. People appear to be trying to either leave the city or get to someplace safer. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I've seen these pictures and these reports from the outskirts of Kiev, because you see, this is the central part of Kiev and almost no cars. Everybody goes that direction to flee the city. So the traffic jams, the lines of cars are there, leaving the city. So we have also seen the report from the official body, from the office of president, that there are misinformation, also information, so to say, attack about the fact that there could be some problems with connection, and some mobile providers are not working now. That is not true. Mobile connection is active, as you see. I'm speaking to you now via this connection, so that is also some misinformation which is being spread by we yet do not know who. So again, information is important now, and that is what we are hearing from the briefing at the office of the president. So right now you can see that all the cars behind me go that direction. Not much people are going this direction, the other direction, because it's to the north, to Chernihiv, where the attacks have been happening since morning, and people are trying to leave the country to the west, and the way goes through the central Kiev from here, and then the turn to the right, to the Zhytomyrska Chaussee, Zhytomyrska highway, which goes out of the country to the west. So now we see two types of people. One,
militarily that would seem logical,
Maria, stay with me. Maria, stay with me. I just want to quickly show our viewers where all in Ukraine attacks have currently been, reported and confirmed from. Remember, there are still many claims and counterclaims happening, but let's just put that map on our screen to show you where the attacks have been reported from. We've got reporters in all of these locations, Ukraine, in Kharkiv, in Lugansk, in Mariupol in eastern Ukraine, where India Today's Gaurav Sawant is reporting from, in the Donbas region, in Chuhuiv, and in Ivano-Frankivsk, which is where that dramatic missile attack caught on video has apparently been reported from. So that's a map of where all these attacks have been reported from. 7 or 8 sites where combat has broken out, where missile or air power strikes have already taken place. So I just wanted to quickly show that to you. Gaurav Sawant continues to be with me from one of those places. Do you see Mariupol there in eastern Ukraine? That's where Gaurav is reporting from. He joins me live from the Donbas area. He's in Mariupol, which is a city in eastern Ukraine. Gaurav, the situation has spiraled. It has escalated. What are you seeing on the ground right now? Things looking calm, but chaotic now in Kiev. We're seeing total panic set in the cities, Gaurav.
So this calm is very deceptive here. There is panic even in Mariupol, but not as much as in panic. The initial impression was that the major attack will come in Mariupol and in the Donbas region in the east. But deception perhaps appears to have been the case, where the targeting of Kiev appears to be happening right now. In one bit of information that we can add at this point of time is that Russian media is reporting that Luhansk area is where the Russian forces have made certain inroads and taken new territory. So this appears to be a multi-pronged offensive that is underway from the Russian side. There is loss of life, an ammunition depot targeted, several airports targeted, and this is very, very classical military tactics to deny the enemy the use of air power, to deny the enemy the use of their ammunition depots and dumps, and also ensure that enemy's air power is completely suppressed. The targeting of civilian areas and the loss of civilian lives, Shiv, is out of the ordinary at this point of time. But even here, we are told that people are being advised to stay indoors. Some movement, of course, happening here now. It wasn't happening initially, but now no sounds of explosion. But the reports were that the Mariupol airport was also targeted by the Russian whether it was artillery or missiles, we still do not know. But the Mariupol airport has also been targeted.
Gaurav, what about the air power claims? Any further clarity on, what each side has been saying? Because Russia claims to have, Ukraine claims to have, that Russia has eliminated 7 of its air bases or crippled 7 of its air bases. Ukraine says 7 Russian aircraft have been shot down. Any further clarity on that, or it's still very foggy?
So the fog of war remains on the shooting down of Russian aircraft, but there are reports of civilian airfields and multiple airfields being targeted by Russian forces, whether it's the use of air power or the use of precision-guided munition and missiles that have been used to target these airfields. That has been confirmed. Several videos are also now doing the rounds in social media. But the fog of war remains on the shooting down of Russian aircraft and helicopters. But this is still a very initial phase of the offensive. Where we are in the east, Shiv, in Mariupol, the apprehension is that the Russian forces, after pulverizing whether it's the Ukrainian air defense or their garrisons, will then move to occupied territory and cut off the Donbass region. And that is something that the Russian President Vladimir Putin was also talking about in terms of taking over the region, demilitarizing and removing the Nazi regime, as he put it, in this part of the country.
Gaurav, stay with me. We've got some breaking news coming in now. Wait for me. Ukraine's envoy to India, Igor Polika, has sought Prime Minister Modi's intervention in the current situation that's spiraling. Ambassador Polikov in Delhi says India has a special relationship with Russia and New Delhi can play a more active role in controlling the situation. That is the Russia-Ukraine crisis. We urge Prime Minister Narendra Modi to immediately contact Russian President Vladimir Putin and our President Volodymyr Zelensky. The Ministry of External Affairs has set up a control room for the Ukraine crisis. Those are pictures of it right now. These are live pictures, live and exclusive pictures of the External Affairs Ministry control room that has been set up with a focus on the escalating Russia-Ukraine crisis at this point of time. The Ukrainian ambassador to India, Igor Polinsky, has basically sent out an SOS to Prime Minister Modi to intervene, to call up his friend Vladimir Putin and get things de-escalated as quickly as possible. India, remember, has already taken a stand at the United Nations calling for restraint. Gaurav, what do you make of this? The Ukrainian ambassador to India sending out a mayday, an SOS message to the Indian Prime Minister saying, please pick up the phone and call Putin.
Shiv, India has so far decided to remain, rather distant from this entire thing. India's posture has been a solution needs to be found through dialogue, and that is what Ambassador Tirumurti also said at the United Nations Security Council, that it is only through dialogue that a resolution of this problem needs to be found. India, incidentally, is very close both to the United States of America and to Russia, and also, to Ukraine, very, very close to all three countries, and that is why one very difficult situation for India is we cannot afford to take sides on this situation. Russia is a strategic partner, as you well know. India and Russia have had a relationship that goes back decades. India's relationship with America has been warming up in the past decades. And Ukraine, when Ukraine in 1991 became independent, India was one of their first ports of call for strengthening ties. You have 20,000 Indian students who study here, and the IT sector sees a lot of cooperation between the two countries. Now, will Prime Minister Narendra Modi pick up the phone and talk to President Putin as, the Ukrainian ambassador to India wants? What will it actually achieve at this stage where Russia is fighting for something which Russia says is extremely significant to ensure that Ukraine doesn't become the background or a playground for NATO forces in this region? So Russia will look after its national interest in this part. What role can India play remains to be seen, except, of course, urge all sides to remain on the dialogue table and not let the situation escalate and spiral out of control the way it appears to be at this stage, Shiv.
At this point, it appears to be out of control. The shells have started to land, the missiles have started to land, the aircraft are in the air or being shot down. The situation is extremely critical. We're going to keep an eye on this. Our reporters in Ukraine bringing you first-hand information, not second-hand misinformation like some others are. And we'll be on this story. It's our #1 story. Our gaze will not move from this big story. Back after this very short break.